Welcome. We have had a lot of things to worry about over the last year or more, from tariffs to Venezuela to Greenland issues to what's going on with Israel to unrest in Minneapolis, and that's just the start. Now, when we add in a lot of the different details with the politics that are there, the Federal Reserve, there's a lot to consider and to potentially worry about. But that's what I want to talk about today. We need to take a step back. We need to realize that there is a lot going on. And it is okay to be emotional over a lot of these different things. But when we allow the emotions to drive our thought process, and especially when it comes to our finances, that's when we need to take a big step back and to consider the different elements and strategies that are out there. So right now, the reason why we want to be talking about this today is because there's a lot that's on the front of our minds right now, a lot of big emotions. And when we look at those, we fail to look at the bigger picture. And right now, the bigger picture is that we are in a lead one category. And what that means is that we see growth of our economy. We see the fact that we're having inflation starting to come down. And that is a recipe for the Federal Reserve in the future to start lowering interest rates. So when that happens, that's going to be roughly in lines with when the Federal Reserve chairman is replaced. That is most likely going to be April to May timeframe that we'll see the transition happen. And then the data is going to really show that they can start cutting rates more and more. And when that happens, you're going to start to see a lot of things really start to creep up. Like people that are wanting to purchase new houses. You're going to start to see mortgage interest rates potentially start falling more and more in the future. So we spur refinancing. You're seeing the consumer actually really start to come back now versus say this time last year. And businesses as well. So small businesses are able to get loans today that they may not have a year ago. So that is one of the really big positives that we're seeing right now. But in the trying times, yes, the emotions are running high. Yes, things are there. And that's where we can add in things like gold, silver, platinum, palladium, steel, copper, lithium, uranium. All of those metals are ones that are actually really helping to maintain portfolios right now. So when we have unrest, when we have the world in what is chaos, now we can take a step back and say there are protection places and there are growth places. And so the growth places, the ones that we're seeing that are working really well, we have small companies, micro companies. So these are the smallest of the small companies that are public. Those are the ones that generally don't in most scenarios, but we're seeing them work incredibly well today in this lead one. Then you also have what you call falling dollar, which means that European markets work well and emerging markets especially. So you see South Korea working really well. The Philippines, Indonesia was working well and may in the future. They've taken a little bit of a breather. You've seen China starting to come back and Japan. Japan is one of those countries that we were writing off that they were going to blow up their economy and everything was going to go down. And yet their markets are going up. And that's where, when we take a step back and we take a look at what's going on around this world, there are a lot of positives. And I want you to focus on that there are a lot of positives that are going on right now. And sometimes we get caught up in the news media. Sometimes we get caught up in our emotions. But just know that there's a lot of exciting things out there. And as you have questions and as you want to know more, please feel free to reach out and I'd be happy to talk. Have a great rest of the day. And remember that your investments are here to grow with the markets. And right now, the markets are signaling that it's a good time to do that. Take care.